Hello, this is Alfons. The question today is, what kind of exercises can we do, you, me, while still in bed, in the morning before getting up, or in the evening before falling asleep, or in the middle of the night when you lie awake with neck pain or back pain? What kind of exercises are suitable for in the bed? So since many years I've been observing my elderly clients, like 70 or older, females, not males, only women. They always tell me about their in-bed exercise routine. Does this sound wrong? But the physical exercises they are doing in the morning, and mostly it's kind of the same exercises, maybe because physiotherapists always give the same exercises, that's a very popular, with the bicycling in the air, for example. Then some of them do sit-ups, these kind of things. I think, I'm not sure if I fully endorse these as exercises. I think everything, if the exercises have a good effect, then why not? Go for it. And I think to do exercises, to have this kind of active lifestyle is very important. And why is it the elderly women who do this? Because I think they are smart. They're smart. They know something about life and the body, which young people don't know. You see, I'm going to show you a couple of exercises. Actually, the ones I do myself as of lately. Since a couple of months, I do exercises in bed. I never did this before, but I found a great benefit in it. And because I sit at the desk a lot, I write a lot, I'm a lot in front of my computer, and I don't do much sports, to be honest. I mean, I have a kind of an active lifestyle. I try to walk like 10,000 steps a day. I reach like 8,000 steps every day. Very good practice, by the way. But to really sweat, I sweat like once a week. I go for a run, like half an hour, just to be able to keep up being able to do this kind of exercise. But some people don't like the exercise I'm going to show you. Very, very simple exercise, because you can do them in bed, right? Many of them you would have during sex, if you have a partner and there was something in bed. Many of these exercises you have during sex. So if you have like sex 3, 4, 5 times a week, I don't know, then you actually don't have to do these kind of physical exercises en plus, on top of what you're doing. But you know, some people are single. With the elderly ladies, the husband died, or you know, maybe your partner is great in many areas, but in the bed, it's not one of these areas. so maybe you don't have a benefit from them or this kind of exercise. So you have to do them on your own. Actually, there's a merit in it, in being consciously aware of what you're doing, what kind of exercises. Is this enough for an introduction? I find it. So let's get to it. So let's start with the little neck exercises. Because that's an area I think many people have problems or a need for improvement. So let's say you're in your bed. So here's the first thing. Can you lie down your head without a pillow? Or can you? Is there no way to bring down your head? So if that's the case, please head over to my neck and shoulder videos. I have like three nice videos where you can become soft enough to be able to do that. And meanwhile, you can just use a pillow. But maybe you don't need one. Just depends. Maybe it's a good practice to sleep without pillow. I don't know. So in physical therapy, there's this neck exercise where you have to press against your hand. And in this, you just, instead of pressing against your head, you just lift your, if you know my videos, you know this one. I call it the postcard lift. You just lift the head high enough, so if there would be a postcard between your head and the pillow and your bed, you just lift the head high enough so that somebody could take out the postcard under your head. So it's really not much of a lift. It's just bring a little bit more tension into yourself, just to be able to lift the head, or you could be able to lift the head. Or you can do it a bit higher actually. And then, there's people who do the plank as an exercise. Where did the plank, like this. And they try to hold it for a minute. You can do the same thing just with the neck. Just lift the head. If that's too strenuous, you can use your hand to help lift the head. Until your neck muscles are strong enough that you can hold your so there should be a connection into the whole body. So that's another lesson. I think I have this lesson on my channel. I try to link the videos, to link the videos, because it's not just like a neck muscle exercise, but this should work through. Lifting the head should affect your pelvis, or the other way around. The pelvis should help lift your head, and in the same like the whole spine and all the muscles next to the spine and everything together. And then take a rest, and maybe you fall asleep, and then you wake up 5 hours later and you can there are no rules, and then bring your head down again. And you see the shoulder is connected to the neck, so when you lift your head, bring your shoulder closer towards your hip. So there's really this connection through the whole body. So that's the first exercise you can do in bed, just lifting the head and keep it lifted. And then of course the question is, how much do you have to turn, because you're not like a mechanical robot with a hinge joint in your neck, but how much do you have to look down? You can look down when you lift, or even look behind you when you lift the head. This kind of has a relaxing effect. It's not just strengthening of the muscles. You could read an ebook like this for a bit, and then read like this, or read like this. You could even prop yourself up. If you prop yourself up, make sure that you don't the spine is not hanging, because then actually you're burdening the structure of your spine and the ligaments and the discs. Make sure you have like a basic tension around your spine so that you're straight. So it's an exercise and not a position where you hang loose. Very cool, huh? But no, bring tension into the body, and make sure when don't ruin your shoulder. Shoulders are a little bit fragile nowadays, I think. So make sure you don't mess up your shoulder. So better maybe just lift it like this. And of course, you can do it in half side lying. You can lift your head when you're on the back. So that's not a curl up or crunches, it's just lifting of the head a little bit. And of course, you can engage your abdominals, of course, or help with your hand if that's too strenuous. And take a rest. You can look at my feet. I play with my colorful socks. you could turn while having your head lifted. So you turn on more to the front side, or you roll more into more onto your back side. Take breaks whenever you need breaks, of course. Yeah, the breaks make the exercise. You can do this under the blanket. This kind of works under a blanket, but the breaks make or break the exercise. So you need the breaks. You can put more weight onto your head. If this is too easy, you take a pillow and you lift your head. I'm still not strong enough for the pillow technique. I think I need to train. Yeah, so that's the next stuff. Okay, now for what can you do with the legs? So I already told you about I'm not a big fan of bicycling, but I'm a big fan of crossing one leg over the other leg. There's many ways to do this, but let's do the one where you have your heel on top of your knee, kind of. And there's also not much to it because you're in bed and you may be half asleep, and it's more like a flexibility thing. Just have this position, and maybe my hip joints workshop. We do all sorts of hip stuff, and it's in the hip joints workshop. But this is just we take out one position, and that's one that I like to use because it's just one thing, and it's nice to work with just one thing. And you can just see what it does to your. Is that good for the lower back? I don't know, but it's good for the hip joints. And just see if you can maybe move the knee a little bit to the left and to the right, if there's possibility for movement at all. And what I like to do, what I suggest maybe, is to start to lengthen your other leg, the standing foot. And this is very somatic. This is very much about feeling what's happening. If you can like lengthen the left foot and let the right one just drop to the side. Yeah. Some people will feel tension here a lot, like in this position, they will feel a lot of tension. Like when I started my training with Feldenkrais 15 years ago, I couldn't hold this position very long. I couldn't tolerate this position because I would hurt here. Nowadays I don't, and that's like maybe that's a way to get used to this position. So then you're in this position. Let's do 3 things. And lift one leg. Lift the long leg. Lift the long leg. So for this you also need to engage, of course, your belly muscles, the abdominals, to be able to lift the leg. But you don't need to actually like totally lift it, just raise it, not even, just. And there's this thing with the other leg, the right one, because you can press down with one leg and lift the other. I think there's a method called kinesiology. They do this as a test, and when you lift one leg, the other leg needs to press down. And if that doesn't work, they consider your system to be in trouble or faulty. So when I lift my left leg, the right heel needs to press down. On the other hand, you can cut this relationship. So just have your right leg, for example, rest and don't press down while lifting the other leg. And for that, you really need a strong core. So that's my core training for in bed. And honestly, I notice if I do these little things in bed, I don't need to exercise during the day. See, for my back, I needed to do like 20 minutes strong exercise, like core stability training. But I don't do much of that nowadays because just this tiny little lifting in bed, it looks like nothing, but it seems to be enough to keep the core in shape. It's very strange, but for me it's enough. So you can play with that and see what it does for you. Just to lift one leg a little bit. So you can press down with the long leg, or you can press down with a bent leg, or you cannot press down at all. Just try to lift the legs. So play with. So I think that's the novelty, the mini lifting. Just it's not whoa, up and 3 more and 2 more and 1 more and rest and 10 more. No, it's just it's just a tiny little lift. Or keep it lifted for a couple of seconds, like 20-30 seconds, and then drop it again. And you can do this in all sorts of positions. You can lift your bent leg a little bit and then drop it again. And don't flex your lower back while you do this. Keep your core stable. You can lift your head and your leg. Keep a stable core. Like this. This is a core exercise. Core stiffness training, to be able to hold this position, to have the ability, to have the power to hold this position when you need it. During the day you will need it when you open a door, or when you lift an object, when you pull on a chair, when you push a table. You need this stability in your lower back. But since we don't push heavy objects, usually I think we don't, maybe this training is just enough. Okay, one last thing is this, like the third one, lifting of the head, lifting of the legs. And that's like a thing on your side. Is this Stuart McGill, the researcher, spine researcher, calls this the bird dog. This strengthens the muscles in the lower back. So you have to be sure that your knees are under your hip joints. So don't go into this kind of position where your knees are too far out, or where you're more like in a Japanese sitting position, just like on all fours, hands and knees, and then push out one knee and start to raise your leg, but it doesn't need to go like fully straight. If you bend it and lift your foot, it's more of a glutes exercise, because you need to activate your glutes. So you have here the chance to activate your glutes, so you can play either make this like a glutes exercise or a core stability exercise. So I do this almost every morning with one leg and the other leg, and almost every evening. I think it's my daily routine. That's why I'm sharing it with you, because it's so simple. It's so simple, people wouldn't even consider it to be an exercise, but it is. I think it is very helpful. That's why I'm sharing it. It's a nice way to to get up in the morning, to warm up, to have a little bit of your blood circulation, to raise your pulse. You do a couple of these small exercises. You can lift one arm. Before you get up out of bed, what are the techniques to get out of bed? So I hope you enjoyed today's video, the little tips, what kind of simple, very, very simple exercises you can do in bed, and still these exercises are, at least they're doing something for me. You can try if they do something for you. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope I can do more videos. I hope you can watch more videos, and I can say like stay safe. That's a nice thing to say, but I hope you stay safe. or not. You can do whatever you want. It's your life. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.